dreams just random images fired from an unconscious brain during sleep? Or something much more important, like life-saving inner guidance? How dreams can be healing and early warning tools for disease, financial crisis, or success. And love is still one of the behavioral science's greatest unanswered questions. Hello, I'm your host, author Kat O'Keefe Canavas. Welcome to Dreaming Healing, where dreams and cutting-edge scientific research meet on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Dreaming Healing is every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, when you can call in and ask Kat questions about your amazing dreams. Talk on air. Call toll-free, 833-220-1200. That's 833-220-1200. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Welcome to Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 radio and TV. This show is a video live podcast. So if you're only listening right now and you want to watch, you can go to my website, Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas, or thequeenofdreams.com, and look up in the right hand corner. You'll see DV7, Dream Vision 7. Click that link and it'll take you and you can watch the show. It's right up there in the upper right hand corner. And if you are listening and watching right now and you'd like to speak with our guests, you can call in during the show, during the live show, at 646-558-8656. So for today's show, what do Dr. Bernie Siegel, Dr. Julie Krull, and Dr. Mark Heidt have in common besides being contributing authors to the Amazon #1 bestseller in releases? What did they have in common? Well, they had to deal with death and their loved ones, and they all dealt with it a little bit differently. They all had this very, very crappy experience that ended up with a very happy ending. But before we go into all of that, let's start the show with our protection meditation. If you're new, just follow along. You'll get it. By next show, you'll be a pro. So if you're driving in a car and listening right now, please don't close your eyes. It will still work. All right, sit comfortably together. And what we're going to do is we're going to take in 3 really deep breaths. Fill your lungs up. And anything that is not of our highest and best, like any little negativity, is going to attach itself to that breath of life. And we're going to blow it out across the room into the purple flame of Saint Germain, where it's going to be converted into beautiful golden energy and returned to the universe so that we are not littering. Then we're going to take a power gift. So I want you to imagine something that is really precious to you. It could be a piece of jewelry, could be something given to you in a dream, could be something given to you by a deceased loved one or a spirit guide, could be your favorite crystal or your favorite flower, anything that is powerful for you because it contains love. That's going to be your power gift. And we are going to use that power gift to create a mirrored bubble around us, a mirrored protective bubble. Okay? So sit comfortably, and when you're ready, kind of close your eyes and just listen to my voice. Take in a nice deep breath. Hold it. Imagine any negativity attaching to it. Blow it across the room into the purple flame of Saint Germain. See it converting into beautiful energy. Again, another deep breath in. Hold it. Anything that is not of your highest and best attaches to that breath. Any negativity you saw, heard, said, received, blow it out across the room, right into the purple flame of Saint Germain. One more time, really deep. I mean, fill your lungs up. Hold it as long as you can for any any negativity that's being really stubborn. See it going right in there. Blow it out across the room. Right into that purple flame of Saint Germain. Now imagine holding in your hand your power gift. Start swinging your hand around your body, your head. Your whole body is surrounded by your power gift, which creates a protective mirrored bubble. Only that which is of the highest and best, brought by our spirit guides and guardian angels, may enter that bubble. Everything else is reflected back from whence it came. We wish it so, and therefore it is. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Feel yourself just kind of tingling all over. So we all have crappy to happy moments in our lives. Knowing how to move from that crappy spot to that happy moment can keep us healthy, especially now during COVID-19. Our guests today have a thing or two to say about all of this because, like many of you, they have survived crappy, some very crappy. So please welcome Dr. Bernie Siegel, Dr. Mark Heidt, and Dr. Judy Krull to our show today. And I have been talking enough, so what I'm going to do is ask them to tell you a little bit about them so that you can get to know them as well as I do now that I have read their stories in Crappy to Happy, True Stories of Grit, Grace, and Love. So welcome to the show, Dr. Bernie Siegel. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a wonderful person.
Yes, you are, Bernie. Yes, you are.
Well, what I love to do, I can't help but have a sense of humor. That's what helps me survive. Childlike, not, insulting or making fun of people. So like today, when I go into a store, how are you? I say, don't ask me. I don't want to remember all my troubles. My psychiatrist doesn't think I'm doing too well, and when the cashiers don't know you, it's like, oh my. But I train them all to say, after they realize I'm kidding, you're looking very well today. So when I go into places, people say, oh, you're looking very well today. And, all the other customers are like, why did they say that? What is it? And, but you get them all smiling when they realize that. So I don't agree that everybody has something crappy in your life. I'd call it a labor pain, if you know what I mean. And that, yeah, because there's one woman compared her chemotherapy and radiation to her pregnancy, because she said that the 9 months seemed like a long time. I watch my body change. Tired, I sit staring out at life. I live within my mind. Books and music transport me beyond my body. 9 months pass. I give birth to my child. All the discomfort and pain is now justified. The chemotherapy and radiation, 12 months seems like a long time. But the same poem ends with 12 months pass, I give birth to myself. All the discomfort is now justified. So I see things as a labor pain, if you know what I mean, that it's, how can I learn from this? What can I grow from it? And the other is, and I mean this, I found when you said to people, what does the pain feel like? The word they say is about their life. So then I say, how does that word fit your life? I mean, I don't make up stories. A woman is about to be admitted to the hospital with several weeks of migraine headache. She wasn't my patient, but the nurse told me to keep my voice down because this lady was in such pain. So I just went into the room that she was in the emergency room. And I said, let me do a meditation with you to relieve the pain. What is it like? Oh, pressure. So again, she wasn't my patient, so I didn't say, how does pressure fit your life? I just said, okay. So we did a meditation to relieve the pressure in her life. I go out and I'm seeing other patients, and the nurse came over to me about 15 minutes later, said, she's on the way home, her headache's gone, it's her marriage. That impressed the hell out of me that once she made that connection, all the pain is gone. And now she's going to go home and work out what gives her the pain.
So Bernie, tell us how we can find you on your website.
Well, it's Bernie Siegel, Siegel-MD.com.
Okay, great. So for those of you who may not know Bernie as well as we know Bernie and love him, he was in the first book of Sacred Stories of Transformation, Chaos to Clarity. He wrote the foreword. And this time in this book, he's actually given us a story. And we're going to get into that story next. So Dr. Mark Heidt, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, Kat, I think in my life, the one word that really goes through the whole 67 years of my existence has been dreams. I always deal with that. One of my favorite expressions was from Walt Disney, that all of our dreams can come true if we just have the courage to pursue them. So in my very early life, I was a lawyer, and I saw people with dreams and heartbreak, and sometimes
Can you hold on
solutions
just a
to it.
second, Mark? I'm not sure who's got the phone ringing and who's typing, but we can all hear it. Okay.
The phone was ringing in my home.
Okay, are you typing on the phone, on the typewriter?
No.
Okay, somebody is. So anyhow, I'm sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Oh, that's quite all right. And after that, I, for 30 years, had the #1 success seminars where we were motivational speakers, also taught people how to do finance and what have you. But the main focus I always found with all of the people throughout the tens of thousands that I spoke to and met, they all have a dream. And they're so afraid to pursue those dreams, to let go. And that's why I love what you write about, Kat, in getting people to release that. Now, in this phase of my life, I'm actually a director of a public company, and we're in the sleep apnea world. We do treatment and also testing of sleep apnea. And to say the least, that goes directly to dreams, because there's nothing more important, I think, to health than to be able to get a really good, sound night's sleep. And that's where you dream.
Wow, I love
May I
that.
interject something to compliment you? To be a lawyer who becomes a doctor ain't easy. One lawyer wrote in the Law Review Journal, when a disaster happened, this powerful sentence: "While learning to think, I almost forgot how to feel." Because when he was thinking about how do I help everybody, he realized, hey, stupid, stop worrying about where their car is, where their belongings are. Go and be with them in the emergency room. That's what's important. And I never forget that sentence. While learning to think, I almost forgot how to feel. And I think because 2 of our children saw the emotions I went through learning how to deal with being a doctor who cared about people.
And so Mark is actually an
They
attorney
became
who's
lawyers,
learning to
not
care about
doctors.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. so
Yes.
Mark, tell us how we can find your website.
Well, the sleep apnea website is sleepmastersolutions.com. And anybody can reach me if they want. I'll give you my email, personal email. I'm always happy to answer that. It's mediawiz7@yahoo.com. And that is because for 30 years, I was the #1 media wizard that was out there. So feel free to email me anytime. I'm happy to answer questions that you have on any of those topics.
Great. Okay. And so Julie, let's go to you. You're a doctor also, Dr. Judy Krull. Tell us a little bit about you and your website.
Okay, well, I wish I could just introduce myself like Bernie and make people laugh.
Bernie's an expert at it.
Yes, I want more of that in my life, but I'm a doctor of psychology. So when we're talking about doctor here, I guess just hearing Mark talk about dreams, I kind of help people dream too, but really dream into their lives and work toward conscious evolution and the evolution of consciousness on our planet. So I'm a healer, teacher, but visionary, and I'm an author and have a fun radio show. I have the Dr. Julie Show, All Things Connected, where we're looking at that infinite field of possibilities of dreaming into the next highest expression of ourselves as humanity here, and working toward individual, cultural, and planetary healing. So that's my work. I have a nonprofit that I work with, still see clients, do my radio show, write, teach, speak, and have fun. So yeah, that's me.
Wow. So let's just reverse this. So we'll start again with you, Julie. Tell us what your crappy was in the book. First of all, let me tell our audience the name of your story in the book is An Epic Healing Journey, and it's actually in part 3, grief and loss. In the book Crappy to Happy, and your story was amazing because I don't want to give a lot away, but I want the audience to know that you gave your father permission to come home and die at home, and you, which made him very happy, but it didn't make all of your family happy, did it?
Well, I think that's Mark's story.
Oh, is it Mark's? No.
Yeah, I think that's Mark giving his wife permission.
Yeah, he did. But didn't your father come home to die at home?
Yes. Yeah. My father was in the hospital and was seeking some heroic measures of treatment in the last days of his life, and wanted to live, and clearly without regular blood transfusions, that wasn't going to happen. And so he finally did choose to go home and die, and went on hospice. And so we journeyed back. We did a 24-hour journey, actually driving him from Colorado to Utah, and brought him home so he could die at home with my 3 sisters and my stepmom right there.
So was your family unified in that? Was everybody okay with the idea?
Yeah, and actually everybody was okay with the stage. We kind of knew, like we knew he wasn't going to live long. He didn't know that. And so even at the end, we're like, okay, you're going to go home. And he knew he couldn't go home on blood transfusions. That's the choice he made. And then when he was ready to go home, he goes, well, what about my blood transfusion? So it was like him getting to that stage of just making that choice, but really not knowing the gravity of that choice when he did make it. But he lived 7 days longer, and it was a really beautiful, epic journey, like I mentioned in title of that, and especially the last 12 hours where he was in the last stage, and which usually lasts a couple hours, and he just hung on and hung on and hung on. So
yeah, it was a little bit like what Bernie was talking about, the birth of through the pain. Mark, you actually gave your wife permission to die. Tell us about that. I mean, that would be difficult to do. That'd be difficult to hear, that your spouse wants to die and they want you to let them die if they want to die. Tell us about that.
Well, for perspective, my wife had heart surgery, and she was recovering in the hospital.
Can I hold up just a second, Mark? Somebody is typing. I'm not sure who it is.
Something to do with Mark, because whenever he speaks, you hear the crackling.
No, I'm hearing it when you're talking too, Bernie. So, okay, I don't know if anybody's typing.
Yeah,
okay, Mark, go ahead.
Okay.
It's Mark's headset.
I just adjusted a little.
Oh, okay.
That helps. So my wife goes in for heart surgery. At the end of the week, when she's supposed to be recovering on that Sunday morning at 7 a.m., I get woken up by a call from the hospital, and they said they had to rush my wife in to open up her heart again because she was having an infection, and they said she died in the surgery. So that's a lovely call to get at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. However, they said the good news is they were able to revive her heart, and she's going to live. But of course, now she's going to go into ICU and what have you. So the perspective on that is that she was in very, very serious treatment, and she's coming out of the treatment. And they said, well, the problem now is we have to start everything else up. Fortunately, your liver is going, but now we have to deal with the kidneys that have stopped, which means dialysis. And the doctor was very honest with me. He said, if there's two things in my life I never want to do, it's bone marrow transplant and dialysis. So it put that in perspective for me. And my wife is like, I will try this. After a couple times of trying it, she basically said, you feel like the entire life force is leaving your body. You get cold. It's horrible. I cannot take it. And the nurse said to her, well, if you don't do that, you're going to die. And she said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to die. Now, the first thing that happens in that situation, believe me, is you get angry. And you want to push for the person to live. And having been for 30 years, as I said, doing motivational things for, come on, people, we can make it. We can overcome the hurdles, et cetera, you want to push for having it go. And when the wife is pushing back, you just are angry, like, come on, we really should live. You should do it. And I went home that night and I really thought about it deeply. And I asked myself the question, is there any time in life where you could have such pain going on where you would say, you know what, I would rather die? And I thought, well, a very easy example, if somebody were drilling into my teeth with no water and it was hot and they would just keep drilling, I'd probably say, stop. The only alternative is I got to die, I'll die. So I went back to the hospital the next day and I said, you know what? I'm with you. If you want to die and not do the dialysis, I accept your decision. I'm not giving you permission to die. I accept your decision. I understand your decision. And because of that, her response was, well, let's give it a couple times a try if we can do it within a few hours here and there and what have you. The end of the story, of course, is 7 months later with a lot of nursing home and et cetera, she came back, and today you would never know that this person had gone through all of this, had the heart surgery, what have you. She is perfectly well. Everything is great. And I'm very, very thankful for that. But I must tell you, it was the first time in my life where I really had to face not letting somebody go as you would in a loss situation, but actually say to them, if your choice is to die, I accept it. You're going through so much pain. I accept your reaction, not mine.
Kat, you're on mute.
I don't know what's going on.
Now it's working.
Now it's working?
Yeah.
This is a live show, guys. Stuff goes wrong all the time. We just go with it. Okay, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Bernie about his crappy.
Ever had a strange dream? Nautilus Award winner, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases by Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas and Duke University radiologist Dr. Larry Burke. Forward by Dr. Bernie Siegel, shares how people like you self-advocated in the face of adversity and won using dreams. Read life-saving dream stories validated by medical reports. Hear how dreams of dead loved ones saved lives. Use interpretations and journaling as roadmaps in your waking world for health, wealth, and love. Dreams That Can Save Your Life. Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. Buy the audio and book at KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com in English and Italian worldwide and through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other retailers.
How did life start on Earth, and why is there so much suffering? Are we living in a simulated reality like the characters in the Matrix movie? Do parallel dimensions exist alongside ours, influencing our experience? What are the mysterious dark energies that penetrate our universe? Peter Canova folds space and time to bring the twin bookends of ancient wisdom and quantum science into a single focal point, answering these and many other deep mysteries of the creation. Quantum Spirituality can be heard every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Pacific on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. See the show where past and present merge to show us our future.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavas, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Berg. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Have you met your physician within yet? The Nautilus and multi-award-winning book, Surviving Cancerland: Intuitive Aspects of Healing, is a memoir that takes you down the rabbit hole of healing dreams and interpretations, mixed with conventional medicine and treatments. Listen to the hookah-puffing caterpillar ask, "Who are you?" Dr. Bernie Siegel says Kathleen's story is powerful, honest, and eye-opening. Surviving Cancerland: Intuitive Aspects of Healing by 3-time breast cancer survivor Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Buy the book and audio at KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers. Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to Happy: Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Dreaming Healing on DreamVision7Radio.com. I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas, but my friends all call me Kat, so I hope you will too. You can learn more about me at KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com or thequeenofdreams.com. And please, if you enjoyed the show or have any questions or comments for me, please leave them on my Facebook page by the same name, Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas, author, speaker, and I will respond to them. So before the break, we were talking about the crappy aspects of the stories of our guests in the book, Crappy to Happy: Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy. And now we're going to go to Bernie's story. Bernie, take it away. Tell us what your crappy was.
I don't remember. Do you remember? Can you tell me what?
Your crappy was that you lost your beloved wife.
All right.
And tell us a little bit about that. Tell us,
well,
because that's something a lot of us are going through.
I'd say all the deaths in our family have never been a problem. My wife died peacefully in her sleep. So what was a shock to me was going to wake her up in the morning because she looked so good and feeling how cold her body was.
Wow.
My father died laughing. You see, part of what we were talking about, he had lots of problems. And he said to my mother, "I need to get out of here." She said, "Let's help him out of bed." I said, "Ma, he needs to get out of his body." So he said, "Fine." We said, "We're ready." He said, "I'll die Sunday." We had a big party. He died laughing because of stories my mother was telling. And the spiritual, that morning before I went to the hospital, a voice, while I was taking a walk, said to me, "How did your parents meet?" I said, "I don't know." And the voice said, "Ask your mother when you get to the hospital." I walk in, and what popped out of my mouth, I wanted to say, "I love you. Let me give you a hug. How did you two meet?" And I was going to apologize for being rude. But then my mother told a story that had everybody laughing, because the answer at the end was, your father lost a coin toss and had to take me out. Okay. And so he looked so healthy. I thought, oh, he's going to say, I'm not going to die today. This is fun. Sorry, I made you all come. But again, consciousness. 24 people were coming to his hospital room to say goodbye. When the last person walked in and we said her name, he took his last breath and died. Okay? Father-in-law, who was quadriplegic, one night said to us, look, no dinner, no pills. He was 98. I said, you got to live to be 100 so I can get you on television and celebrate. But that's the problem of family. If you were completely paralyzed, would you want to live another 2 years? So he had a fall and an accident. So he said, no dinner, no pills. He went to sleep and he died quietly in his sleep. My mother-in-law was in a nursing home. I used to tease her a lot and go have lunch with her, but she was an opera singer, and I'd ask her to sing and she'd say no at my age. She was in her 90s too. Well, I was at services at a local synagogue, and a cloud came into the room and came right over my head. You know, it was about that big. And I heard my mother-in-law say, goodbye, Bernie. And then off it went. So I jumped up and drove down to the nursing home. I walked in their front door and the nurse said, oh, you've heard. I said, I didn't hear, I knew. And she came to say goodbye to me. So, I mean, I've had so much experience with death in the sense of patience and everything else that I don't see it as a problem. And I had a near-death experience as a kid choking on a toy. I was upset that I didn't die. I mean, that may sound stupid, but I was 4 years old. You leave your body, you're floating around thinking, seeing, watching the kid choking to death. And boy, is that painful. I didn't want to go back. I was upset, as most kids are. Oh, my parents will find me dead and they won't be happy. But I prefer being dead. But I have an angel, and it wasn't my time to die. The kid on the bed vomited. I realized years later, the angel did a Heimlich maneuver on him. So the toy pieces came flying out, and he took a breath, and I'm back again. And my mother wasn't interested in all the wonderful things that happened when she came in and saw the vomit and the toy pieces and knew what had almost happened. But so again, to me, death is not a problem. You'll be perfect again. And I think
so that story of you having a near-death experience, you wrote about that in the foreword to the previous book to this, Chaos to Clarity. You wrote about that story. That was an amazing story. So in Crappy to Happy, though, your story is called The Cycle of Life. Yeah. And so that's what you're talking about. You know, death is all part of that life.
Yeah, the consciousness never ends. You know, when we talk about past lives, and I've had that experience too, see, again, these were all coincidental. I wasn't going to therapists saying, put me in a trance. I was so busy that when a friend called, I said, look, I can't talk to you. I have an interview. Why are you living this life? And I went into a trance. And I said, oh my God, I see myself with a sword in my hand killing people. Maybe that's why I'm a surgeon. And later, when I was on an airplane flying alone across country, I mean, not with my wife, I mean, there are other people on the plane, but I went into a trance and saw the whole thing. And it was incredible. And my wife was a part of my past life too. And I understood why her face hypnotized me when I first met her, you know, when we were in college age kind of thing. And we were counselors at a camp. And we came together, and as Jung said, no coincidences. I was working with first grade boys. She was working with first grade girls. And I was talking about the swimming pool, and she said, oh, you asked me for a date? And I wasn't, because I thought, you're so pretty, you'd never go out with me. But I said, oh, yeah, I'm asking you for a date. So she said, all right. And that coincidence of my talking about the pool led to our
It started
getting
it
married.
all.
Yeah.
That's where it all began.
Yeah.
So Judy, let's go back to you and have you tell us about your happy in your story in the book, Crappy to Happy.
Crappy to happy. Well, it's interesting that Bernie brought up the birth canal and giving birth and what have you. And I too had a near-death experience at a young age at 4 years old, same as you, and same.
Can you hold your book up for a second while you're telling us too?
Yeah. So
There it
Crappy to
is.
happy. Here it is.
Mhm.
And anyway, the
Happy. What was your happy?
it's like I just want to take a breath and pause into this, because it's like the stories are sacred. You know, we're
They
talking
are.
about death and dying
Uh-huh.
and the sacredness of life, and there's a lot to that story. But you know, I think the crux of the happy piece is I had the same idea about death as Bernie, because I knew death from my near-death experience. And sitting with my father, we took turns watching or sitting up with him at night and during the day and what have you. And it was my night, and it was Valentine's Day. And so it's early hours in the morning. And I decided, as a writer, I just got out my computer and was writing. And while I was doing that, I was interrupted often with my father's death process. You know, he was needing adjusted, he was wincing and moaning, and the oxygen concentrator was going. And there was just so much beauty and sacredness to the entire night that I write about in Crappy to Happy, with more of the poetic moments of love, of awareness, of just going through that process with him. And my dad, in those final hours, was just so sweet and funny. Like Bernie, he was funny. He would say things like, "Do you want me to give you some pain medicine, Dad?" And he'd say, "Oh, no, it hurts more everywhere than anywhere." And, you know, just some really sweet things. And so as I was sitting there on my computer, I was capturing these in real time and capturing the experience in real time. So it was really, it really was a happy time, happy process. And then toward the end, it was clear, when the hospice team came in and said, "Okay, we're at the final stages. You can expect this. It'll just be an hour or two now." And it stretched out for 11 hours.
Wow.
And
that's like labor.
It was
Being
labor.
born to the other side.
That's exactly the process that I was reminded of my first birth with my son, giving birth to my son, and my dad laboring. And it was literally, he was laboring, and then it would be like he gave his last breath, and we'd all go, "Ah." And then he'd fight for the next one to go through the next labor pain. And clearly it was the same experience going backwards, of going through that death canal. And then the piece of the beauty and elegance of it was like there was a divine cosmic physician there to bring in the forceps and finally deliver him. And he took his last breath. So that ending of all of us going, "Oh, is this it?" And no, and sitting back, because finally I relaxed into it. I went, "Oh yeah." Relax into, like into birth. We need to sit back and relax, and give him space. And when that wisdom entered the room, everything shifted, and he was delivered, and he died. So yeah.
The joy of delivering him back to where he was before he was born, and into the hands of the rest of your family on the other side. That really is joyful.
Yeah.
Can I add a story to fit in? So, all right.
Of course, Bernie.
Because two things from my wife. That one was, as a surgeon, I was having a horrendous day with all kinds of complications in emergency rooms, and I never got around to having lunch until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we have a lunch pail. I wish I had it here. It's a red pail with the word love written all over it. So I open it, and my wife would always put a note in, you know, loving me and so forth. But this day I opened it, and there were just 2 words, hold on. No hugs and kisses, nothing. But I thought, how the hell did she know I was going to have a terrible day? So I pulled myself together, and I got through it. And I got home that night, and I said, boy, you were a big help. What did I do? I had a horrible day. Your note, hold on. I don't know how you knew what was going to happen. She said, I didn't know. It was a big sandwich with a lot of vegetables. I just wanted you to hold on. And so, but that has stayed with me my entire life, that message of hold on. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and it meant a lot to me. And I think we have to remember that.
We have to hold on when we're at those points where we think that we are not going to make it. It doesn't matter what the person telling us to hold on thinks. It's the way you take it.
Yeah,
don't go away though.
Yeah.
We've got to go to break. Bernie, we got to go to break.
Let me just say, I help people to die because that's their choice. I don't kill them, if you know what I mean, but I help them to let go. Yeah.
Right. Okay, don't go away. You are listening to Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. We're going to be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavas, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Ever had a strange dream? Nautilus Award winner, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases by Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas and Duke University radiologist Dr. Larry Burke, forward by Dr. Bernie Siegel, shares how people like you self-advocated in the face of adversity and won using dreams. Read life-saving dream stories validated by medical reports. Hear how dreams of dead loved ones saved lives. Use interpretations and journaling as roadmaps in your waking world for health, wealth, and love. Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. Buy the audio and book at KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com in English and Italian worldwide and through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other retailers.
Have you met your physician within yet? The Nautilus and multi-award-winning book, Surviving Cancerland: Intuitive Aspects of Healing, is a memoir that takes you down the rabbit hole of healing dreams and interpretations, mixed with conventional medicine and treatments. Listen to the hookah-puffing caterpillar ask, "Who are you?" Dr. Bernie Siegel says Kathleen's story is powerful, honest, and eye-opening. Surviving Cancerland: Intuitive Aspects of Healing by 3-time breast cancer survivor Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Buy the book and audio at KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers. Darkest hours to brightest moments, transformation from despair to happiness, and chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity: Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Canavas. Available on SacredStoriesPublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust. To learn her astonishing secret, Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back, everyone, to the last segment of our show. You are watching and listening to Dreaming Healing on syndicated DreamVision7Radio.com. And I'm your host, author Kathleen O'Keefe Cannabis. My friends all call me Kat, so I hope you will too. We are talking to 3 co-contributing authors in the book, Crappy to Happy, True Stories of Grace and Love. And we're speaking with Dr. Bernie Siegel, who wrote the chapter Cycle of Life, Dr. Mark Heidt, who wrote It's Okay to Die, and Dr. Julie Krull, who wrote An Epic Healing Journey. And all 3 of their stories are in part 3 of the book, Grief and Loss, Let the Circle Be Unbroken. Just before the break, we were talking about the happy. So I'd like to go to Mark again. Mark, tell us your happy from your story, It's Okay to Die.
Yep. Well, again, I really appreciate this book, by the way. I read through it. It's powerful. And Bernie, I circled your on hold story. I may use that. I'll attribute it to you, but it's a great story about that. Here's the thing. You know, when I gave my wife permission to die, and she then released, and I released, and so death was now out of the equation. You know the next thing that happened? A little old lady comes strolling into the room going, "Hello, I'm your dialysis therapist. I am going to get you through this." Now, I know that was an angel, not just a little old lady, but there she was. And she was like, "I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. I know Mark has to go to work, so if we want to do this at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll roll in the machines and we can do it. And don't worry, honey, I'm going to be right there with you, holding your arm the whole way, and we are going to get through this." And, you know, she did something that I think is so important in the medical world, and I've passed this on, which is she didn't say the next day, "You are healed, hallelujah." She said, "You know what? We've made a little bit of an improvement here. We're getting there. Come on, we can do it. A little bit more improvement." And sure enough, you know, within 4 weeks, the kidneys had popped back on and it was no longer an issue. And she didn't have to do dialysis anymore. And it was just the greatest blessing that I can think about. And that little angel made the difference. But she would not have appeared if we had not faced the reality of death.
Wow, that's an amazing story. That's an amazing story.
Can I share something? Because my feeling is we don't die. Our bodies die. After my wife died, the mystical things that have happened to me, she's still with me. I mean, things as simple as this. I go to bed at night, I hear a sound of like a candle blowing out, and I would feel a breeze on my face. And there's nobody in the bedroom. I knew she's kissing me goodnight. She was born on 9/9. 9 months after she died, my heart had atrial fibrillation. I knew I had a broken heart. My love died. I go to the emergency room. I just walk in the door and I hear a voice yell, "Put him in room 9. We don't have a hospital room for you yet. You'll have to stay in the emergency room." "Oh, we got a room now. It's 819, which adds up to 99. Then I get a wristband to identify me and the event. My number at Yale New Haven Hospital, 8 is a number for a new beginning. 996633. Everything. And then the case number, And I'm talking about 8 or 10 times now that I have visited doctors. It always adds up to 9, or once it added up to our anniversary, 7/11. And I can't call that a coincidence. And also, I got them in my pocket. I mean, I've got, I don't know if you could see it. They're the numbers from the hospital, and also a dime and a penny. As I said, we were married on the 11th. This is the number exactly in order. 3393966. So when you put the 6s and the 3s together, everything is 9s. And a dime and a penny is the day we were married. I have found a dime and a penny so many times. I started saving them. You know, it's a little heavy bag here that I just keep over my heart again. And I found it in bird baths in the yard. When the boy said to me, clean the bird bath, it's filthy, I dumped the water and leaves out. There's a dime and a penny. In supermarkets, go to aisle number 3, the voice says. I go to aisle number 3, there's a dime and a penny on the belt. And how the hell is it sitting there? I mean, I can't.
It's your wife kissing you, Bernie.
Yeah.
She's just giving you a big
I
hug.
tell people,
She's
look
kissing
for
you.
pennies from heaven. That's
Yeah.
what we call them in our family now. And that term came from one of the grandchildren. This kid pops up, oh, they're pennies from heaven. I thought, what made this little kid say that? And so since that day, it's all pennies from heaven. But
God.
I mean, I know that, as I say, we don't die. Our bodies do.
Yeah.
And the communication has been incredible.
So Bernie, give us your website again. Everybody, I'm sure they're dying to go to your website, check you out.
Bernie, Bernie, Siegel, Siegel, MD.com.
Okay.
And, you know, they're all
Go check out Bernie. He's got all of his stories on there. And
yeah,
he's
I mean,
in
let me
2
just
books.
say this, the 2 recent books, No Endings, Only Beginnings. You know, and
Hold
it's
it up so we can see it, Bernie.
about life.
There we go.
And then there's another one, because I could not write about this, 3 Men, 6 Lives. And one of them is my past life. I mean, I made that the people fictitious characters. So I'm a surgeon, but not with my name, because I didn't want to involve them in it. But the stories about past lives are not unreal. They really happen.
And I heard that it's a fabulous book. So everybody go to Bernie's page and check it out. So Mark, let's get back to you. What ending or thoughts would you like to leave the audience with? Because we're down to our last few minutes.
I think every day you should take a moment to celebrate life and to laugh. One of the things that happened after my experience is I was invited to become a director of the National Comedy Hall of Fame in Holiday, Florida. And it impresses upon me when you see kids and people of all ages just to be able to laugh and enjoy life for a little bit. I think sometimes we get too involved with everything that goes on. Take a moment to laugh, and of course, take a moment to dream.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And what's your website again, Mark? How can we find you?
You can, my company website, you can find me at sleepmastersolutions.com, or again, email me at mediawiz7@yahoo.com.
Great. No, not right now, Bernie. We're running out of time.
Just 1 second.
So no, Bernie. Julie, Dr. Julie Krull, give us your ending thoughts and your website.
Thank you. Well, my website is juliekrull.com. JULIEKRULL.com, juliekrull.com. Thank you for that invitation. And I think my closing thought would be how we relax into those cycles of life that we were talking about, that like really accepting death as part of life, and knowing, like Bernie and we've all talked about, is that it's just that the body dies and life goes on. So really allowing and opening to this next sacred stage without resistance, without fear. And that makes a world of difference to everyone involved, the living who's left grieving. So yeah, accept that, move into really embracing death as a part of life.
I wanted to say, tell people to write
very
poetry.
quick, Bernie. You've got like
just
5
to
seconds.
write poetry, write about your life. I mean, the reason I held this up is poetry of myself and a grandchild. When you realize how perfect everything is, and you're talking about crappy, and look what we put as a title on. But when you write the poetry, you get it all out, and then healing happens.
Great. Okay. So I want to thank our guests for being on the show with us tonight. We had Dr. Bernie Siegel, and the title of his chapter in the book, Crappy to Happy, is Cycle of Life. And Dr. Mark Heidt, It's Okay to Die. And an epic healing journey by Dr. Julie Krull. And they are all in the book, Crappy to Happy, Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy. And they are 2 stories of grit, grace, and love. And I want to leave you with this parting thought. Life is like a book. Some chapters are crappy, some are happy, some exciting. But if you stay on the same page and you never turn the page, you will never know what joy the next page may hold. So remember, everybody dreams, but some dreams save lives. Join us again next Tuesday for another Dreaming Healing Show. Good night, everybody.
Well said, Kathleen.
Thank you for joining us this evening, and a big thanks to our producer. Tune in next time to Dreaming Healing for more cutting-edge research, live dream interpretations, and stories with radio host and award-winning author Kat O'Keefe Canavas. Listen every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time with call-in live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Remember, everyone dreams, but some dreams save lives. Live your dreams. Find more about Kat at KathleenO'KeefeCanvas.com. That's Kathleen with a K. OKEEFEKANAVOS. Or The Queen of Dreams on Google search.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life